Last year, during his Independence Day address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hinted at raising the marital age of women. The PM said that as soon as he gets a report on marital age, his government will take an appropriate decision.
बेटियों में कुपोषण खत्म हो, उनकी शादी की सही आयु क्या हो, इसके लिए हमने कमेटियां बना की रचना की है। उसका रिपोर्ट आते ही बेटियों की शादी की उम्र के बारे में भी उचित फैसले लिए जाएंगे।
Being true to his words, this Wednesday on 15th of December, the Prime Minister and his cabinet passed a proposal to raise the legal age of marriage for women from 18 to 21 years. When implemented, the changes will place women on an equal footing with men. Through this proposal, the government aims to introduce the amendments to the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, the Special Marriage Act, Hindu Marriage Act, and make necessary changes in law wherever the government deems fit. The decision of the Union Cabinet was based on a task force report submitted to the Niti Aayog by a committee headed by Jaya Jaitley, who made it very clear in her subsequent interviews to the media that the reasoning behind raising the marriage age of women was not to control population, but the decision was taken to empower women. But as soon as this decision was taken, in fact, ever since the Prime Minister's Independence Day address, many politicians in our country have been running amok, making sexist, misogynistic comments. For instance, Samajwadi Party MP Shafiqur Rahman said that if the marital age of women is raised, this will turn women into rogue elements. Basically, he means that women will loaf around if their marriage age is increased.
मैं समझता हूँ कि सही कदम नहीं
जी
हाँ सही कदम नहीं है।
क्यों ऐसा
भाई यूं के लड़कियों को ज्यादा उम्र बढ़ा देने से बहरहाल हालात बिगड़ेंगे और जो 18 साल की उम्र भी काफी थी उनके लिए
जी
और वो हमेशा चली आ रही थी और इस वरना इसे ज्यादा आवारगी का मौका मिलेगा।
This is another politician in Karnataka, Congress MLA Ramesh Kumar, who said in the State Assembly, when rape is inevitable, lie down and enjoy it.
There is a saying, when rape is inevitable, lie down and enjoy it. That's exactly the position into which you are.
After making these statements, when there was a huge backlash, the MLA apologized. But the misogynist that he is, he did not apologize to women. He tendered a general apology. He said in his first apology, I would like to express my sincere apologies to everyone for the indifferent and negligent comment I made in today's assembly about rape. My intention was not to trivialize or make light of the heinous crime, but it was an off-the-cuff remark. I will choose my words carefully. But when pressure was mounted on him by his party, he issued a second apology. This time, his apology was even worse. He stated, if it hurts the sentiments of women, I have no problem apologizing. Let me repeat those words for you. If, and that's a big if it hurts the sentiments of women, I have no problem apologizing. Another Samajwadi Party MP S.T. Hasan recently said, girls should be married when they attain the age of fertility. There is nothing wrong if a mature girl is married at 16. There have been numerous cases of such men making insensitive comments when it comes to rape, marital age, and child marriage. But what do we do when these statements come from our lawmakers, from our MPs? What can be done if chief ministers make such statements? This is a former Uttarakhand chief minister making a commentary on women wearing torn jeans. He says, घुटने फटे दिखते हैं, समाज के बीच में जाती हो, बच्चे साथ में हैं, क्या संस्कार दोगी?
तो नीचे गमबूट थे, जब और ऊपर देखा तो घुटने फटे थे, हाथ देखे तो कई कड़े थे, लेकिन जब ये घुटने देखे बच्चे दो साथ में उनके थे। मैं कहा बहन जी कहाँ जाना है? दिल्ली जाना है। हस्बैंड कहाँ है? जीएनयू में प्रोफेसर है। तो मैं क्या करती हूँ? मैं एक एनजीओ चलाती हूँ। एनजीओ चलाती है, घुटने फटे दिखते हैं, समाज के बीच में जाती हो, बच्चे साथ में हैं, क्या संस्कार दोगे?
Misogyny, as they say, is a weak man's crutch. And all these misogynists often forget that it was a woman who brought them into this world. Why are we discussing these comments while discussing the government's decision on increasing marital age of women? It is very important to understand that as a society, where do we stand when it comes to our views on women? If lawmakers are saying this, one can imagine the condition in our cities and villages. In Agra, in a mass wedding ceremony that was organized under the government-funded Mukhyamantri Samuhik Vivah Yojana, the records showed that a 13-year-old girl was married off under the government-funded scheme. In Rajasthan, the government had recently brought in a bill that had the provision for mandatory registration of all marriages, including child marriage. Why would the government want to bring in a law for registration of child marriage when child marriage itself is deemed illegal? The government, through that step, almost institutionalized the practice of child marriage. This and more, there have been numerous instances that showcase the regressive mindset of our lawmakers and people's representatives. And when we look at the statistics, it is easy to comprehend why India has been faring so poorly when it comes to women empowerment. Let's take a look at the numbers. According to the UNICEF, India is home to 223 million child brides. 1 in 3 of the world's child brides live in India. Of the country's 223 million child brides, 102 million child brides were married before they turned 15. According to the NHFS 5 data, every fourth woman aged between 20 and 24 had fallen prey to child marriage. According to a DLHS, that is a district level household facility survey, the worst state in India when it comes to child marriage is Bihar, where nearly 70% women in their early 20s reported that they were already married when they attained the age of 18. According to the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Index 2021, India has slipped 28 places and ranks 140 amongst 156 countries, becoming the third worst performer in South Asia. Most of the decline occurred on the Political Empowerment Subindex, where India regressed 13.5 percentage points. The report states that there has been a significant decline in the number of women ministers, which reduced by half from 23.1% in 2019 to 9.1% in 2021. The report states that among the drivers of this decline is a decrease in women's labor force participation rate, which fell from 24.8% to 22.3%. In addition, the share of women in professional and technical roles declined further to 29.2%. The share of women in senior and managerial positions also remains low. Only 14.6% of these positions are held by women, and there are only 8.9% firms with female top managers. Further, women's estimated earned income is only 1/5 of men's, which puts India among the bottom 10 globally on this indicator. The data related to India on women-related matters has glaring details. Therefore, the Cabinet's decision to raise the marital age of women is a welcome move, as it throws up opportunities for women to pursue higher education. It gives a woman the freedom to be career-oriented without being pushed into an early marriage. Research has shown that early pregnancies have an impact on the nutritional health of the mother and the child. It has an impact on infant mortality and maternal mortality rates. Child marriage is nothing but taking away the childhood of a child. It is true that the problem of child marriage has a negative impact on both the girl and the boy child, but data shows that the impact this has on girls is always more. So the government's decision is good, but critics have been raising concerns. From saying that the new law would push people into illegal marriages to saying that it would have a negative impact on the marginalized communities, these critics have gone too far, defending why women's marital age should not be raised. The raising of the marital age is a great step towards gender equality, but we must also understand that it is only the first step towards addressing the issue of gender discrimination. What needs to be seen is, how is such a progressive new law going to be implemented in rural India? How is the government going to create awareness amongst the public? How is the government going to ensure that there is social acceptance of this decision in India's rural heartland? What steps will the government take to formalize sex education? Education is the biggest and the most powerful tool to address the problem of child marriage and gender equality. The marriage age of 18 was introduced in 1978, but the instances of child marriage started to see a somewhat decline only in the late 1990s when successive governments started stressing on the importance of education, especially education of the girl child. We can't have a nation that institutionalizes the practice of a girl child raising children when she herself is a child. To end child marriage, to get all our women educated, to attain gender equality, we must not just mobilize our parliamentarians to speak for us, but we must mobilize our population too. This problem must not just be discussed among civil society activists, but all of society should talk about this. Gender equality will be attained only when we have educated, empowered, and emancipated women. No society can succeed when half of its population is discriminated against. Women must have the right to make their own life decisions. They must have the freedom to decide when they want to marry, if they want to marry at all. This freedom is necessary and is an important step towards gender equality. Because freedom without equality is like having a society filled with humans but no humanity.